Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. So today we're going to combine two things, handcrafted coffee and handcrafted woodworking. So recently I switched over to this pour over coffee maker, and let me tell you something, that thing blows your standard drip coffee makers right out of the water. So a coffee this good deserves a holder just as good. So we're going to use the CNC and some good old-fashioned incompetence. Let's get started. Now be sure to stick around till later in the video. I'm going to show you some crazy things, or tell you some crazy things about some crazy coffee. But most of your regular coffee makers, they flood your grounds with water and let your coffee sit too long. You know, that means you're drinking over-extracted and sometimes bitter coffee. Pour over though, it's controlled. You control everything, the flow of the water, how much coffee, the temperature of the water, the flow timing. That all means a cleaner, less bitter, more flavorful cup every time. Now that beautiful pour deserves a beautiful stand. I wanted something clean and simple, solid, a base, an upright, and a ring to hold the brewer just above the cup at the right height. I use sapelli because it's a dark, rich colored wood. I think it looks real good when you put the finish on it. It's durable, and again, it takes finish beautifully. I designed a quick file for the CNC to carve the base and the uprights, and if you stick around at the end of the video, I did some Carveco programming for a simple dowel version of this thing. So actually, the hardest part of this project is knowing when to stop making just one more cup of coffee and actually get to work. Alright, like I said, we're going to use some sapelli here. I'm going to clamp this thing down. I slide the clamp over just far enough so that my touch block can fit on there. Then of course we're not going to use any dust collection because I want you all to be able to see this thing working. But I absolutely despise not using the dust collection because the dust gets all over the place. So I'm doing this for y'all. And of course you try to get some shots for the old gram there with the cell phone. Nothing to it. Nice slow motion shot of the other side. Now what you're going to see here in a second is that I almost miscalculated with the size of that board. When they go to cut out the actual shape, the end mill goes off the edge of the board, as you can see right there, but I got lucky because it skimmed it and it made the right shape. Both pieces, very, very lucky. See it run along there. Now before I lifted up the machine, or the board, I marked the corner so I don't have to re-zero. I just line the board back up with that mark, and I can push go on the mill. And as most of you know that have ever watched me before, I do not use tabs. I use what they call an onion skin, and you can see it right there. And I run that flush trim bit around, no sanding, no playing around. Trying to do a little karate there and break that board off. Run it right through with a 1/4 inch flush trim bit. Much, much easier. Just leave about 20 thousandths above your project so it doesn't ruin your wasteboard, and you're good to go. Just be careful with the fingers. Hi-ya! Burn, baby! So? Yeah, 6 hours later. Let's just say I have trust issues. I don't trust that end grain joint is going to hold when we put some weight on it. So we're going to drill a hole in it, and we're going to put a little pin in there. Through this one, into the top of the one, no line, no hole coming through the other side. Should have done it on the mill, but It is what it is. And knowing what I know about Sapelli and a laser, I just couldn't let it go. I had to add some designs to this thing. So here we have a nice steaming hot cup of coffee. And for the top side, the fruit that produces it. Okay, so earlier I told you I was going to tell you some interesting facts about coffee. Did you know there's such a thing as animal processed coffee? It's a coffee made using beans that passes through the digestive system of animals. The basic idea, the animal eats the coffee, cherries. The beans pass through the animal's digestive tract. The beans are collected from the animal's... Wait, what? Yep, you guessed it. They're poop. Cleaned and roasted. So there's some common types. I may not be pronouncing these right, but one is Kopi Luwak, which is a civet coffee. It's made in Indonesia. Another one is Black Ivory coffee in Thailand, made from elephants. You know, elephants, the kind with the trunk. And Jacu coffee in Brazil, a Jacu bird. So how does it all work? Okay, cool. The first one, the animal eats an Asian palm civet, and he eats the ripe coffee cherries. During digestion, his enzymes ferment the beans and strip away the bitterness. The beans come out whole in his, you guessed it, poop, collected, cleaned, fermented, dried, and roasted. The flavor profile is smooth, less acidic, earthy, or musty. Now those elephants consume coffee cherries mixed in their food. The beans ferment for 15 to 70 hours in the elephant's digestive system. The beans are retrieved from the, you guessed it again, poop, but they're using a fancy term called dung, washed thoroughly and processed. Flavor profile is smooth, chocolatey, rich, with no bitterness, with a slight hint of peanuts. The end of that was a joke. They don't really taste like peanuts. The Jacu bird coffee, same scenario. The bird peck at and swallow the ripe cherries. The beans pass through the bird and are collected in their droppings. The flavor bright, clean, and mildly fruity. So what do you think? Would you drink one of these types of coffees? Let me know in the comments below what you think of poop coffee. All right, there you have it. A simple build for an exceptional cup of coffee. One other thing I didn't mention was, one of the things about this cup maker is that's beautiful. You don't have to have electricity to make yourself a nice hot cup of coffee. If you have one of those rocket stoves like I have in the wintertime, you can set a boiling pot of water on it, pour your coffee through around a campfire, pour your coffee through. So if you like these kind of builds, you like simple CNC projects, you know, pretty cool crafting stuff, keep watching. Don't forget to watch after the end of the video. I've got some programming if you'd like to see it. I've got a little outtake there you can watch. As always, thanks for watching. Give us a like, share, and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one. Ooh, that's hot. So let's do some programming. We're going to begin with a new model. We're going to be 20 wide, 6 inches high, origin in the bottom left, and click OK. Starting in a 3D view, we're going to grab the circle tool. We're going to stretch out a circle. We're going to go 6 inches in diameter over here on the right. We're going to click Create. Then we're going to go to the Node Editing tool. we're going to grab one of these nodes and drag it straight out until we get what we like, which is roughly 9 inches. Going to switch to the 2D view. Going to turn on snapping to grid. And I'm just going to pull this thing over roughly a 1/2 inch away from the edge of the stock. Going to grab the circle tool once more. We're going to stretch a circle out to 5 inches. 4 inches, I'm sorry. And click create. When you get that little crosshair, you're in the center there. We're going to grab this circle and slide it back a 1/2 inch. Grabbing the circle tool once more, we're going to stretch a circle out here to 0.51, which, as I said, this is the simplistic version with a dowel. You'll cut a dowel and put it up from the bottom to the top. Going back to the cursor tool, we're going to slide that circle over again to about a 1/2 inch. A lot of this stuff is perspective. Now, as you can see, my stock isn't wide enough. So what I'm going to do here is go to Model, going to go to Border, add a border, click on Symmetrical, click on Top, and we're going to add 1 inch to the top, which will give us room enough for clamping and for the 1/4 inch end mill to go around. We're going to mirror this thing to the right, closing that menu out. We're just going to grab this whole model here and slide it to the right, the one we mirrored. Again, leaving enough room between the two pieces so the bit can pass. And we're going to highlight everything, and we're going to push F9 to pop it in the middle. We're going to grab this circle and make it smaller. This will be the top where the coffee maker sits. We're going to turn that into a 3. We've got the aspect ratio locked. Turning the top width to 3 turns the height to 3, which makes a perfect circle. Going back to the cursor tool, we're going to go over and we're going to grab that, and we're going to start doing some tool paths. We're going to do an area clearance here. We're only going to go down a 1/16 of an inch. We're going to add the downtown Jenny here. Continuing down, we're going to switch to an offset. And our stock thickness is 3/4 of an inch. We'll give this a name. We'll call it Recess. And we'll calculate now. Closing this menu out, we're now going to grab this little hole here and this one here by pushing Shift and clicking the second hole. Back to Tool Paths. Again with an area clearance because I don't want little pieces flying. In this case, we're going to cut all the way through except for the last 20 thousandths, so it's 0.73 back to the downtown Jenny. This entire project uses the downtown Jenny, so you don't have to keep switching back and forth. Again, going with an offset tool strategy, we'll give this a name, Dowel Hole. Calculating now. Closing this menu out. Now we're going to cut out this circle. Same thing, this will be a area clearance, 0.73 deep, so it doesn't go into my wasteboard. Adding the downtown Jenny. Scrolling down, again, we're going to an offset tool strategy. We're going to name this. We'll call this the pass-through hole. And we'll calculate that. Now we're going to highlight both of the outside lines so that we can cut these things loose. In this case, we're going to go to a profiling toolpath. Start depth will be 0. Finish depth will be 0.73. Again, I don't want to wreck my wasteboard. I want that onion skin. Downtown Jenny and select. No bridges or tabs. Giving it a name, cut loose. Ooh, what did I forget? Nothing. Double checking things. Now we're going to give it a name, cut loose. We'll calculate that. Right clicking on tool paths, we can go down to simulate all tool paths. Simulate. Pushing down on the space bar, we can rotate this thing and see what we've done. Looks pretty good. Going to simulation, going to go down here to material, and we're going to slide all the way down to wood, and we can actually pick sapelli so we can see what this is going to look like. And there you have it. That's all there is to it. Thanks for watching, everybody.